important it was, image and charisma. These kids now don't understand that. They never seen anything good.
Coming up, we've got a brand new clip from Suzanne Vega.
One of Lemmy's favorites.
Yeah, one of Lemmy's favorites.
Johnny Ramone was one of the most important figures in punk rock history. He created a completely new sound for rock guitar by using a technique that focused on relentless downstrokes and a buzzing, aggressive tone. When he played with the Ramones, he stripped away all the fancy parts of rock guitar and left only the pure, driving energy. He treated his Mosrite guitar like a powerful weapon, pushing each song forward with incredible force and never letting up. As a guitarist, Ramone was known for being extremely disciplined. He cared most about three things: playing fast, playing precisely, and having the right attitude. He had very strong opinions about music and never hesitated to share them. When performing on stage, he believed in staying focused. He would tell his bandmates to face forward toward the audience, not to look at each other or the drummer, and definitely not to turn around and stare at their amplifiers. For Ramone, the audience was what mattered, and everything should be directed at them. When Johnny Ramone talked about which guitarists he admired most, he revealed something surprising. Many people expected him to love experimental players or complicated jazz fusion musicians, but that was not the case at all. Ramone loved guitarists who played simple, powerful songs with total energy and commitment. His musical tastes were actually quite conservative, which surprised people who thought punk rock was all about chaos and breaking rules. The truth was that Ramone had studied classic rock and roll very carefully before he decided to strip it down to its most basic elements. For Ramone, being direct and powerful was much more important than showing off technical skills. He admired guitarists who could create memorable guitar riffs and drive rock songs forward with energy. He had no interest in flashy playing or experimentation unless there was a solid song underneath it all. His list of favorite guitarists included early rock pioneers and straightforward players who understood that when you keep things simple and execute them perfectly, you create the biggest impact. In 10th place on his list was Scotty Moore. Moore was one of the inventors of rock guitar, and he created this new sound while working with Elvis Presley in the 1950s. When Moore played on those early recording sessions at Sun Records, he was defining what rock guitar would become for all future generations. He mixed together country guitar picking techniques with blues attitude, and the result was something completely new that had never existed before. Ramone recognized that Moore was one of rock music's founding fathers and that his work created the template that everyone else would follow. Scotty Moore's guitar playing on songs like That's All Right and Mystery Train was revolutionary, but it was also simple. His guitar tone was clean and sharp, and it pushed Elvis's singing forward perfectly. Moore used his Gibson guitar to create solos that people could remember easily and would get stuck in their heads. Ramone appreciated that Moore never played too much or tried to pull attention away from the songs themselves. What made Moore so essential was that he understood the guitar should serve the energy of rock and roll music. He created excitement without using complexity or trying to show off his abilities. Ramone believed that Moore played exactly what rock and roll needed, nothing more and nothing less. The influence that Moore had on every single rock guitarist who came after him cannot be measured. In 9th place was Cliff Gallup. Gallup played guitar for Gene Vincent and his Blue Caps during the middle of the 1950s. His playing on songs like Race with the Devil showed incredible technical skill and energy. Gallup played faster and more aggressively than most guitarists of that time period. Ramone loved how Gallup brought rockabilly guitar to its absolute highest level of intensity. Gallup used his Gretsch guitar to create extremely fast musical runs and powerful rhythm sections. His tone was raw and exciting, which was perfect for rockabilly's wild energy. Gallup only recorded with Vincent for a short time before he went back to regular work, which made his recorded output rare and valuable. Ramone studied Gallup's solos very carefully and admired how his technical ability always served simple songs. Ramone believed in playing within limitations so that any weaknesses would not show through. What separated Gallup from other rockabilly guitarists was how he combined incredible speed with good taste. He could play unbelievably fast without losing clarity or musical sense. Ramone praised Gallup's ability to play technically difficult parts that still rocked hard. Even though Gallup's recording career was brief, he influenced many generations of guitarists. James Burton came in 8th place. Burton became the most requested session guitarist in both rock and country music. His work with Ricky Nelson, Elvis Presley, and countless other artists established the professional standards for guitar playing. Burton's Telecaster technique combined the precision of country music with the attitude of rock music perfectly. Ramone admired Burton's ability to create perfect guitar parts for any musical situation without letting his ego get in the way. Burton's playing on Ricky Nelson's hit songs showed off his clean, fast style. His string-bending technique and chicken-picking style influenced both rock and country guitarists equally. Burton could play blazing fast solos or subtle rhythm parts with complete mastery. Ramone noticed how Burton always made songs better without trying to compete for attention unnecessarily. Ramone talked about how certain groups had been around for a long time and how newer groups just try to copy them. What made Burton impossible to replace was his instantly recognizable tone and his professional discipline. Just 3 notes were enough for trained ears to identify Burton's playing immediately. Ramone stated that Burton represented everything that was professional about rock guitar playing. Burton's Red Paisley Telecaster became one of rock music's most iconic instruments through decades of consistent solid work. In 7th place was Link Wray. Wray created the power chord and the distorted guitar sound with his instrumental song Rumble. His aggressive playing style directly influenced punk rock decades before punk even existed as a recognized genre. Wray's guitar tone was raw and threatening, completely different from the clean sounds that dominated 1950s music. Ramone considered Wray to be a direct predecessor to punk's stripped-down aggression. Wray achieved his distorted tone by deliberately poking holes in his amplifier speakers. His playing emphasized rhythm and power rather than melodic complexity. Wray's instrumental songs were primitive and threatening, suggesting danger and rebellion. Ramone loved how Wray rejected polish and sophistication in favor of raw emotional impact. Ramone would tell his bandmates not to move around or communicate with the drummer, and not to face their amplifiers during performances. What made Wray special was his complete originality and his refusal to play in conventional ways. He essentially created punk rock guitar before punk existed as a genre. Ramone called Wray the first punk guitarist before anyone even knew what punk was. Wray's influence on garage rock and punk guitar remains absolutely fundamental and direct. Chuck Berry took 6th place. Berry invented the rock and roll guitar language that every player still uses today. His work in the 1950s created the foundation for all rock music completely. Berry combined brilliant songwriting, showmanship, and revolutionary guitar playing in one complete package. Ramone recognized Berry as the absolute blueprint for rock guitar. Berry's guitar introductions to his famous songs are among the most recognizable guitar moments in all of music. His double-string bending technique became the standard technique for all rock guitarists everywhere. Berry's rhythm playing drove songs forward with unstoppable energy and power. Ramone studied Berry's records obsessively, learning his riffs and rhythm patterns perfectly. What elevated Berry above other guitarists was his completeness as a rock and roll artist. He wrote great songs, sang them, and played revolutionary guitar all at the same time. Ramone stated that Berry invented everything that mattered about rock guitar. Berry's Gibson guitar produced the clear, cutting tone that defined the rock sound permanently. Eddie Cochran came in 5th place. Cochran mastered rockabilly guitar and created some of rock music's most powerful early recordings. His playing on songs like Summertime Blues and Seaman Everybody showed aggressive energy and technical skill. Cochran's Gretsch guitar tone was thick and driving, perfect for his rebellious attitude. Ramone loved Cochran's combination of youth energy and musical intelligence. Cochran wrote his own songs and usually played all the guitar parts himself. His rhythm playing was percussive and powerful, driving songs forward relentlessly. Cochran used creative studio techniques, overdubbing multiple guitar parts, before this practice became common. Ramone appreciated how Cochran understood that great guitar playing should serve great songs. What made Cochran impossible to replace was his complete vision as both an artist and a guitarist. He represented rock and roll rebellion through both his image and his music. Ramone said that Cochran had everything needed to be a rock and roll legend. Tragically, Cochran died at age 21, robbing rock music of one of its greatest talents. Duane Eddy took 4th place. Eddy created instrumental rock and roll with his deep, twangy guitar sound. His hit songs like Rebel Rosa showed a completely original approach to electric guitar. Eddy played simple melodies on his guitar's bass strings, creating dark, mysterious tones. Ramone loved how Eddy made minimalism sound both dramatic and powerful at the same time. Eddy's use of tremolo and reverb effects influenced countless guitarists and producers permanently. His guitar tone was instantly recognizable after hearing just 2 notes anywhere. Eddie never played complicated solos or showed off his technical skills unnecessarily. He created memorable melodies that stuck in listeners' heads forever through pure simplicity. What made Eddie essential was his focus on tone and atmosphere rather than technical complexity. His instrumental songs told stories without needing any words. Ramone praised Eddie's understanding that great tone beats fancy playing every single time. Eddie's influence spread widely and permanently across rock, country, and surf music. Jeff Beck came in 3rd place. Beck combined technical mastery with complete artistic fearlessness throughout his entire career. His work with the Yardbirds, the Jeff Beck Group, and his solo albums showed constant innovation. Beck's playing ranged from aggressive rock to delicate jazz fusion seamlessly. Ramone admired Beck's refusal to repeat himself or settle into comfortable patterns ever. Beck's guitar tone was vocal-like and expressive, making his instrument literally sing with emotion. His use of the tremolo arm and finger vibrato created unique sounds constantly. Beck could play screaming rock solos or subtle melodic lines with equal brilliance. Ramone appreciated how Beck maintained intensity while constantly exploring new musical territories. What separated Beck from other guitarists was his dedication to innovation without losing power. He never played safe or predictable music throughout his decades-long career. Ramone stated that Beck proved guitar could evolve and change without losing rock energy. Beck's influence spans multiple generations and countless musical styles completely. Pete Townshend took 2nd place. Townshend created power chord rock with The Who's explosive sound. His windmill strumming technique and his habit of smashing guitars created theatrics that defined rock rebellion visually. Townshend's rhythm playing drove The Who's music with incredible power and energy. Ramone recognized Townshend as punk rock's spiritual father through his pure attitude and aggression. Townshend's playing on songs like My Generation and Substitute was simple yet devastating in its impact. His use of feedback and distortion influenced punk rock directly decades later. Townshend smashed guitars on stage, expressing pure rock and roll destruction. Ramone loved how Townshend rejected the posturing of guitar heroes in favor of raw power. What made Townshend essential was his understanding that attitude mattered more than technical skill. He played rhythm guitar like it was a weapon of destruction. Ramone praised Townshend's commitment to power and simplicity over showing off. Townshend's influence on punk rock was direct, obvious, and absolutely fundamental to the entire genre. In 1st place, perhaps surprisingly, was Trini Lopez. Lopez took the top position because he combined Latin rhythms with rock energy perfectly. His live album, recorded at PJ's nightclub, showed infectious guitar playing and tremendous entertainment value. Lopez's rhythm guitar work was percussive and driving, making crowds move constantly. Ramone placed Lopez first because Lopez represented pure entertainment and musicality combined perfectly. Lopez's versions of rock standards like If I Had a Hammer featured his distinctive guitar attack. His 12-string guitar sound was bright and cutting, perfect for his energetic performances. Lopez understood that guitar should make people happy and excited. Ramone appreciated how Lopez played with both joy and professionalism at the same time. What made Lopez #1 was his combination of technical skill and pure showmanship. He entertained audiences while playing solid rhythm guitar constantly. Ramone stated that Lopez understood that rock guitar was fundamentally about entertaining people. Lopez's Gibson signature guitar became iconic through his enthusiastic performances worldwide. Johnny Ramone's list of favorite guitarists proves that simplicity, power, and commitment matter most in rock music. These 10 guitarists created exciting rock and roll through direct energy rather than through complex technical displays. They understood that the purpose of guitar in rock music was to serve the song, drive the rhythm forward, and connect with the audience. Whether it was the clean precision of Scotty Moore, the raw aggression of Link Wray, the completeness of Chuck Berry, or the entertaining showmanship of Trini Lopez, each guitarist brought something essential to rock music. Ramone's choices reveal his core musical philosophy. He believed that attitude and energy were more important than technical virtuosity. He valued guitarists who could play their parts perfectly while keeping things simple and direct. He admired players who understood that rock and roll was meant to excite audiences and make them move, not to showcase complicated techniques. His list shows that punk rock, despite its reputation for chaos and destruction, was actually built on a foundation of careful study of rock and roll history and a deep respect for the musicians who created the original sound. The guitarists on Ramones' list span several decades and styles, from the early rock pioneers of the 1950s to the innovative players of later decades. What they all share is a commitment to serving the music rather than their own egos. They created memorable parts that people could sing along with and remember. They drove songs forward with relentless energy. They understood that sometimes less is more, and that playing the right 3 notes with the right attitude is more powerful than playing 1,000 notes just to show off skill. Johnny Ramone himself embodied these principles throughout his career with the Ramones. His machine gun downstroke technique and buzzsaw tone became the template for punk rock guitar. He played with incredible discipline and precision, never deviating from what the song needed. He stood still on stage, facing forward, focusing completely on delivering the music with maximum power. His approach was the perfect synthesis of all the lessons he learned from the guitarists on this list. This list also shows how punk rock was not a rejection of rock and roll history, but rather returned to its essential elements. Ramone studied the classics carefully before deciding what to keep and what to discard. He kept the energy, the power, the directness, and the attitude. He discarded the solace, the showboating, the complexity, and the self-indulgence. In doing so, he created something that felt revolutionary, but was actually deeply rooted in rock and roll tradition. The choice of Trini Lopez as #1 might surprise many people who expected someone like Chuck Berry or Pete Townshend to top the list. But this choice reveals something important about Ramone's values. Lopez represented the idea that rock guitar was fundamentally about entertainment and making people happy. He combined solid technical skills with infectious energy and showmanship. He made crowds move and made them enjoy themselves. For Ramone, this combination of professionalism and joy was the ultimate expression of what rock guitar should be. Each guitarist on this list contributed something unique to rock music. Scotty Moore established the foundation. Cliff Gallup showed how speed and taste could coexist. James Burton demonstrated professional excellence. Link Wray proved that raw power could be revolutionary. Chuck Berry created the language everyone else would speak. Eddie Cochran showed youthful rebellion. Dwayne Eddy demonstrated that tone atmosphere mattered. Jeff Beck proved innovation could maintain intensity. Pete Townshend embodied attitude and aggression. And Trini Lopez showed that entertaining people was the ultimate goal. Johnny Ramone's legacy in punk rock is enormous. He influenced countless guitarists who came after him. His approach to guitar playing became the standard for punk rock and influenced many other genres as well. His list of favorite guitarists provides insight into how he developed his style and what he valued in music. It shows that even the most seemingly simple and aggressive music can be built on a foundation of careful study, deep appreciation, and strong musical values. Understanding Ramone's influences helps us understand punk rock itself. Punk was not about destroying rock music, but about stripping it down to its most powerful elements. It was about returning to the energy and directness of early rock and roll while adding a new level of intensity and aggression. It was about value and attitude and commitment over technical showmanship. And it was about remembering that rock music exists to excite and entertain audiences, not to impress other musicians. The 10 guitarists on Johnny Ramone's list created the foundation for everything that came after them in rock music. Without their innovations and their commitment to powerful, direct playing, rock music as we know it would not exist. And without Johnny Ramone's careful study of these masters and his decision to strip their lessons down to bare essentials, punk rock would not exist either. This list is not just a personal preference list, but a roadmap to understanding how rock music evolved and how punk rock emerged from that evolution while staying true to rock and roll's original spirit and energy.